God has chosen you for such a time as this. He has prepared you for such a moment in your life. You know that scripture that says, "I have refined you and tested you and have found you righteous." What a wonderful thing to know that God has chosen you. And when God chooses you, you can take that to the bank. Nothing is going to disqualify you from being God's choice, but a lack of belief in your heart. I want to share 2 stories with you today of God's chosen ones, and they are God turns their traps into your testimonies. The first one is going to be Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a man who served the king of the Babylonian Empire. And so he was there in the palace, enjoying the finer things of life. But one day, while he was enjoying his cup of wine, his friend came and broke the news to him that Jerusalem, the city of his forefathers, was in ruins. So of course, he became very upset. He tore his clothes, he shaved his beard and wept great bitter tears. And then he said, "You know what? I'm gonna go see what's going on." So the king granted him permission, gave him 3,000 men, allowed him to take whatever resources he needed. And he went up to Jerusalem to rebuild it. So Nehemiah was coming from a place of great comfort, pleasure, and happiness. And he left all that behind to go serve the Lord. And as soon as the enemies heard that he was rebuilding the city wall, they began to mock him. They began to make fun of him. They said, "What are you doing, Nehemiah? Are you trying to rebuild the city? You're not going to make it. It's never going to happen." So Nehemiah had every reason to quit. He had every reason to just throw his hands up and say, "You know what? To heck with this, let them mock me. I'm just going to go back to Babylon and live my comfortable life over there." But he didn't do that. Why? Because Nehemiah believed in his heart that God had called him to do this job. Now, one of the ways that they tried to stop him from building the wall was they sent assassins after him. These were men who wanted to kill Nehemiah, take his life. But because he was constantly looking over his shoulder, afraid of these assassins, afraid of the enemy, he could only build during the daytime. So they sent an assassin, Sanballat, the Horonite, to come and kill him. And he said, "Sanballat, the Horonite, is going to kill you." So Nehemiah was afraid, but he still continued to build during the daytime, and the enemy thought they had him trapped. They thought they had him boxed in. There was no way out. Nehemiah would have to die. But you know what happened? One day, when the enemies came to mock them, they saw that the wall was so high that the archers couldn't get over the wall to shoot arrows at them. They couldn't get over the wall to throw their darts. They couldn't get over the wall to throw their spears. So the enemy's trap turned into Nehemiah's testimony. And the whole city of Jerusalem, under the leadership of Nehemiah, was rebuilt. When you allow God to use you, the enemy will try and trap you. But the trap will turn into your testimony if you stay faithful to God. The second story I want to share with you is the story of Joseph. Joseph was sold by his own brothers into slavery in Egypt. He was taken down to Egypt, where he ended up in prison. And in prison, he interpreted the baker's dream, and he told him, "You're gonna be hung." And he interpreted the butler's dream, and he said, "You're gonna get your job back." And the butler forgot about Joseph, so Joseph stayed in prison. Now, while he was in prison, he interpreted the Pharaoh's dream, and Pharaoh said, "You're gonna be in charge of everything in my kingdom. You're gonna be second only to me." So now he goes from being in prison to being in a palace. He goes from being a slave to being a prince. And he went right into the palace and started solving problems for the Egyptian empire. And within a few years, there was a famine that hit the land, and people from all over the earth came to Egypt to buy grain. And guess who came into Egypt to buy grain? His own brothers, the ones who had sold him into slavery. But they didn't recognize him. He was so transformed, so different, but he recognized them. And he played a little trick on them. He said, "Okay, you have to bring your youngest brother down here, or you're not gonna get the grain." So they brought Benjamin down to Egypt. And again, he played another trick. He said, "If you bring your oldest brother, then I will let you have the grain." So they brought Jacob, his oldest brother. And Joseph threw his arms around his father's neck and said, "It's me, Joseph." And his brothers were so embarrassed, ashamed. They said, "We're sorry we did the things we did to you. We're sorry we sold you into slavery. Please forgive us." And Joseph said, "Hey, don't worry about it. God used that situation to promote me, to elevate me, to get me into the palace. God was in control of that situation." So Joseph took his brothers and his father, Jacob, and settled them in the land of Goshen. So the enemy tried to harm Joseph, hurt him, put him through difficult situations. And those difficult situations, those problems that Joseph encountered, turned into Joseph's testimony. Now, how does this apply to us today? If God can use Nehemiah, if God can use Joseph, He can use you. You may think you're ordinary. You may think you're not gifted, talented, or intelligent enough. But God sees something in you that you don't see in yourself. But sometimes the enemy will come and try to trap you. He'll come and try to hurt you. And that hurts you so bad you want to quit. You start thinking, maybe I am not gifted. Maybe I am not talented. Maybe I am not beautiful. Maybe I am not intelligent enough. Maybe I'm not educated enough. Maybe I don't have the right background. And those thoughts will discourage you, but don't listen to those lies. Don't believe those lies. Stay faithful to God. Stay committed to the task that God has given you. And the problems that the enemy uses to try to box you in, try to keep you from finishing, it will turn into your testimony. When you stay faithful to God, the finished work of the cross, the resurrection, your new birth. When you stay faithful to God, He will use your testimony to bring glory and honor to Himself. When the enemies thought they were going to destroy Nehemiah by sending assassins to kill him, the more he feared the assassins, the more he rebuilt during the day. And it turned into a blessing. When the enemy thought he was going to destroy Joseph by selling him into slavery, it turned into a promotion. If you're willing to be obedient to God, He will turn your problems into your testimony. Problems cannot stop you. Difficulties cannot slow you down. As long as you keep moving forward, keep believing, keep trusting, keep praying, and you finish what God calls you to do, you will see the problem become your testimony. If you're willing to agree to this truth, type the word "agree" in the comment section. Agree, agree. I'm not giving up. I'm not quitting. I'm not stopping. I'm gonna finish the race. I'm gonna finish strong. I'm gonna finish well. I want to encourage you, keep believing. Keep trusting. Don't listen to the voice that tells you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not beautiful enough. God has chosen you. And if God has chosen you, nobody and nothing can disqualify you from being God's choice. May God bless you until I see you next time.